Hello, this is John, host of MGTOW is Freedom. This is a channel where men who understand feminism can come to talk about it. They can come to talk about how their lives have been destroyed by it, how they need to avoid the pitfalls of the feminist woman and the feminist society and social engineering. I spent a lot of time looking into this, years and years, gentlemen. I have spent years and years and years studying psychology just to get a grasp of what is going on. It is amazing the perpetual and pervasive entitlement mentality and victimhood mentality of feminists, and their unwillingness to accept responsibility for themselves and what they do. It is shocking to me, absolutely shocking, the lengths they will go to keep themselves hidden. They are like snakes that want to slither under rocks. And they will continue to try and use, even after they've been exposed, the same tricks. Last night I received from my ex-wife a text. And it started out talking about how if I want to get pictures of my son's senior graduation or senior photos from the photographer, I could get a hold of the person. And then it went into, well, I'm glad you have a YouTube channel. I found out about it. And I would really appreciate it if while you film MGTOW is Freedom videos that you don't do so in front of our children. And it's amazing to me how when it suited her, she would call them my boys, meaning her, talking about my boys as she had a Facebook page where I was absent. She didn't claim or act or looked or sound as if she was married, and everything was about her and her sons, my boys. But anytime she needs to get me to behave, it becomes our children and our sons. And a demand for respect comes about. This demand for respect. And that I should do it for, I don't know what, for her honor? Does that sound right to you guys? Does that sound like someone who continues to play the game? That I need to be responsible and respectable and that she's a woman and she deserves that. She's entitled to it. That's very common. None of this comes as a surprise to me. What I do find interesting is it must have been someone at her work that pointed it out to her. It must have been somebody that pointed it out to her, and she was probably shocked. Well, that's the way it goes, right? I was pretty shocked when I found out what she was doing. Right? And she wants to say that, well, she doesn't want me to talk about it or film my videos in front of the kids, which I don't really do. The hypocrisy stinks to high heaven. What she doesn't want to do is she doesn't want to be exposed as someone that has been, in my opinion, acting like a feminist. She is trying to hide. Now, her work, or maybe her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend, who she was trying to move in before I even got out, who was coming over to my house before I was even moved out of it. You know, she doesn't want the embarrassment, because it seems like now people in her life know who she is. And here's things about this. Now, here's what's amazing to me. Is they're all feminists, I'm sure of it. And they don't want to be exposed either. Just exposed for being what they are. Now, do I love feminists? Fuck no, I don't. I've exposed myself. I put my face on here. And this cry this cry for be respectful of our children is absolutely fucking asinine. based on what they're exposed to in public school. I tried saying our sons should be privately schooled, homeschooled, and she would not allow it. Instead, they go to school where there's a social and a socialist agenda, where there's a lesbian, gay, homosexual, faggot, queer movement that is off the hook in our city. And she's worried about what I expose them to. My kids come home to me, and they're honest with me because they're little men and I'm their father. And we talk about, they bring up women, and they do not talk about them nicely. They call them ratchets. They call them every dirty name in the book. Now, there's good ones, just like everywhere else. And then there are these terrible, filthy little girls. And they have to put up with the shit, the social programming and engineering that comes out of their mouths. My sons have to deal with that, not because of me, but because of what feminism has done. But feminism will ignore what they have done. And then they will, through their agents, look at me and say, oh, don't say anything in front of your sons. We don't want to expose them to that. To what? The truth? The truth of what these little vile creatures do, what big vile creatures do, these older feminists. You know, I'm not the first man to put a foot on the moon here. I'm not Christopher Columbus coming ashore on a new land. The evidence speaks for itself. The history of feminism is the destruction of the masculine, the destruction of the family, the destruction of children. That is what it's about. I'm not breaking new ground here. I'm just talking about it and telling men, you can go your own way in life. You no longer have to put up with this game. You don't have to suffer under it. And suffer you have. Women, feminists, complain about being objectified. Men are objectified. We are objects to be not revered, but to be reviled. We are beasts of burden for feminism, to pay for it, both socially and personally. There's this complaint of white privilege, male privilege. It's absolutely asinine. When you look at the facts, that privilege is turned on its head in front of the courts, and men are punished. Punished. The law, the lawyers, they do it. They play their games, and men are the ones who pay. We pay before and after the fact. Feminists are hypocrites, and they cannot look at themselves fairly. Now, I am no angel, I am not perfect. No one is. But they want to be. They want to pretend like nothing happened. Right? The bullshit my ex-wife pulled is outrageous. Out-fucking-rageous. Out-fucking-rageous, the games she played. The bullshit she pulled. The attempts to effeminize and emasculate me are out-fucking-rageous. And I conquered them, and I conquered her as a force in my life, a force of destruction. And I want men to know everywhere, you don't have to succumb to it. And when you get away from them, they're going to continue to try it. An attempt at guilt in a text message. Oh, I know about your videos, and I would appreciate it if you didn't do that. And as a woman, do you think I give a fuck about any of them as a woman? They're not acting like women. That's the whole goddamn point. They are acting like men. They are emasculated females. But they want all the special privileges. They want to talk shit and trash you, but then have you respect them. And what is respectable about them? Would you respect your ex-wife if her mother stole $1 million in assets from you and then claimed she had nothing to do with it and she can't do anything about it? Would you? How the fuck would you feel if you had that much wealth stolen from you? Would you feel a degree of respect? Would you feel remorseful for being upset at it? I did a video called Righteous Indignation. That is, as a man, you have a right, goddammit, to be mad when things go wrong. When you've been wronged. And I'd just say, I'll just forget about it. One more thing. No. This is an example of the hypocrisy of feminism. The perpetual victimhood and entitlement mentality. The demand for equality. Would you treat someone as an equal who wronged you? Would you? No, they are not your equal. They get no consideration. Yet a feminist, a woman with a feminist mindset, they will. It is completely ridiculous. My sons are learning this on their own. They hear me, and maybe sometimes they don't agree with some of the things I say. Maybe sometimes they agree with things I say more than I could possibly know. My sons are young men. They're not children. They're not infants. They're not toddlers running around with crumbs all over their face. They look at what I do, and they look at what everyone else around them does, and they see it. All of our kids see it. And they can choose to be men, or they can choose to be little social puppets. And I know where my sons are. I know where they're at. And my ex-wife doesn't like the fact that they have a choice, that they can see things the way they want. I live alone, and I love it. I'm a man going my own way. She has chosen to do something completely different and doesn't want to be looked at, held accountable, judged for it, while she judges everyone else, including me. Now, if her friends, her workmates are watching this video and other videos I've done, then that's their choice. I'm not calling them gold-digging whores. I'm not calling them feminist cunts, because I don't know who they are. I don't know who's watching. I know what the odds are of them being one. And that's their choice. Everyone has a choice in this. And if they are one of those things, one of those users, one of those hypocritical lying creatures that takes everything a man has to offer and then throws him to the gutter when she's done with him, when she's had enough, when she feels scorned. Because all she can do is see herself. If those are the women that are watching this, then that's too fucking bad. You're hearing about yourself through my voice, through this channel. I look in a mirror every day and I say, you're the man. You're the man. You have the penis. You're responsible for yourself. I have committed no crime. I have done nothing wrong. I just want to be free. Free from all the restraint and control and bullshit. But I can't get free of the judgment of other feminists. I can't get free of the judgment. All I can do is be myself. I get plenty of judgment from people I see that my ex-wife has talked to. And when I ask her about it in the past, she has feigned ignorance. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you can believe what you want. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I have had people stand behind her at the bank, at stores, that know who she is and listen to the shit she talks about. And when confronted, she just denies it and lies. It is a continual and perpetual victim mentality, a state of permanent mental hypocrisy. And if you look into psychological disorders, they cannot see it. They will not accept it. And even if they felt they should see a therapist, it takes years and years to get any change in them. And then they can just revert right back. That is how damaging feminist is to the mind. Feminism. The feminist doctrine. How corrupt it is. The damage it does. Telling women that they're men. Telling them they can be like men. And then giving them special privileges and coddling them and treating them like infants. That's how damaging it is to women's minds. It fucks them up. Do your work. Read, learn, find out, see if I'm full of shit. I don't get my information from anti-feminist psychologists. It comes from real psychology. Go to the DSM manual and start reading about personality disorders. How hard they are to treat. Where they come from. They come from trauma. They come from other places, and they cannot be corrected without real love and real care. But when you've been coddled, when you've been allowed to be a liar and a hypocrite your whole life, the older these women get, the more damaged they are permanently. They wonder why. They wonder why we think this. Feminists wonder, why do we think this? Because the facts speak for themselves. Do they not? Do they not? Is the world a better place today, or are we seeing the destruction of family, the destruction of men, the destruction of children, the destruction of young men who are trying to become real adult men, and they are shoved down, they are crushed, they're told they need to be gay and to accept something that they're not, they're told to shut up, they're told to do as they're told, otherwise they're going to get in trouble and have their lives taken from them. It is disgusting. It is vile. And it's destroying men, and that is destroying our culture and destroying our nation. Yet they'll come back to you and use guilt. They'll come right back to you as an individual and say, you need to stop talking about that because it's harmful, or it's not good, or you need to respect me. Don't show our kids the truth. That's what they'll tell you. Don't talk about it to your nephews. Don't tell them about being a man because it's harmful to them. That is the type of bullshit that has gotten us here in the first fucking place, is ignoring the problem on a larger scale. We can only deal with it on an individual scale. But it has a collective consequence. Collective consequence. But it's enforced individually by using their victim mentality and their entitlement mentality and their hypocrisy. And the fact that men play by rules and they do not. That we're expected to bend to their will. That is why we are here today, because men play by rules and we're nice. Women are far more manipulative, far nastier, because the facts bear it out. Courts, divorces, everything bears it out. Look what these little rat-tailed cunts are doing now in college. They can have sex with a guy. The next day change their mind about calling it sex and they call it rape. And some young man's life is destroyed because he believed that she was old enough at age 18, 19, 20, 21 to decide if she wanted to have sex or not. And he didn't realize that she can change her mind and destroy his life. He believed that she was equal to him mentally and that she was capable of making such decisions. Instead, she had regret and she could punish him. It is absolutely filthy what is being done to our nation by this feminist agenda. The triggered culture. Give me a fucking break. Triggered? Everything. Trigger warnings? That's all these girls want now are trigger warnings because they don't want to hear it. They are perpetual 5-year-olds. They are perpetual victims. And they can't hear that. They can't hear anything that would be offensive to them. But they can offend the fuck out of everyone. Isn't that great? That's the world we live in. It's run by toddlers and crybabies. Men, reach down between your legs and grab your fucking balls and start acting like men. Right? That's what I say. That's what I say to everybody. That's what I want to see. Look in the mirror and say, I have the penis. I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm not going to fucking bend to it. The nation needs to be fixed. And it starts with us as individuals. First in our thinking and then in our acting. That is what the MGTOW movement is doing. It is letting men know you can go your own way. Stop feeding the beast and start fighting the beast. With whatever level you're comfortable with. But you've got to start sometime. It is a man's world. And in a man's world, men take action. Take action in your life. Don't be just a fucking spectator in your life, in your world. Take action. The hypocrisy of feminism is off the hook. We talk about it. I talk about it. Everyone who does MGTOW videos talks about it. Putting your opinion in the comments takes an act of bravery. Doing videos it's an act of bravery to put yourself out there. Because you make yourself a target. I don't care what they fucking think. I don't care what feminists think. If they get offended at me, I have nothing to fucking lose from them. All I know is that I would be another piece of meat on their fucking dish. That is it. So I don't care what they, as feminists, think of me. What I care about is what I think of myself. In my heart and in my mind. That is how feminists have destroyed men and the feminist agenda. By taking a man's self-worth and self-respect and self-value down. And taking his physical value down. Taking it away from him. I don't follow anyone's fucking talking points. You get John's mind and John's perspective on things, and John's opinions. And my opinions are subject to change as I find new information to support them. And I'm going to leave you with this. The facts speak for themselves. Look at how women behave and decide, are they acting like feminists? And if the answer is yes, why do you give a fuck what they think? Why? It is your right to be men. It is your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whatever shade that is, provided you're not hurting anyone else. And being triggered is not hurting someone else. Having an opinion on my part is not a hate crime. I should be free, and God damn it, I am. God bless this world for giving me the opportunity to live. And I fight like a motherfucker, just like you guys do, to get along and get by and get through it. Stand up, act ye like men. Stop apologizing for being a man, right? I was expected with that text message from my ex-wife to what, send something back? I didn't even respond to it. I don't have to. There was no request for an explanation, and I don't think she can. She can't request that. I'm not apologizing. The facts are the facts, not only in my case, but everywhere. Perpetual hypocrisy from feminists. That's what we see. And that's what we need to be aware of and fight against. Or it will consume us, not just individually, but as a society. And we're going to end up paying through a socialized government system for every whim these fucking morons want. And they'll continue to use perpetual hypocrisy and lies and double standards and entitlement and victim mentality to control us, along with guilt and shame. Shame on feminists, you bunch of dirty cunts. Shame on you all for what you've done to men and for what you've done to families and what you've done to your own children by acting like selfish little harpies. Selfish little harpies, doing whatever you want to please yourself at everyone else's expense. Fuck you. Right? Now, am I mad or am I reasonable? Am I in my right mind or am I out of control? I'm very much in control and in my right mind, and while I may have anger about some things, it is justifiable, is it not? Hell hath no blah blah like the wrath of a scorned woman. Fuck you, scorned woman, my ass. All you're going to do is sit in a corner and cry like a bitch until you're given enough authority and power to go to a court and steal someone's shit. That's the wrath of a scorned woman, is have your shit stolen. Fuck you, bitches. It's so simple. It's so simple. This is John, host of MGTOW is Freedom. I have the penis. Semper Fi.